Okay, well, welcome back to Talking Football here at TalkingSports.tv at Charlie Fitz Whiskey's Bar and Tavern and Eatery and Tap and all the other good stuff right here in Vaughan, Ontario. We're with Uncle Ben from UncleBen'sFootball.com. It's a site that if you care about investing in the NFL and in NCAA football is a must for you. You've got to go and look at UncleBen'sFootball.com. If you've been looking this year, you're way ahead, and you still have a chance to catch on. Now, Ben, I know that you've used a term called fish spreads, which is interesting, but I don't know enough about it, and neither do our viewers. Explain what a fish spread is, and why do we have so many of what you're calling fish spreads on this weekend's schedule in the NFL?
Absolutely, Marty, be happy to. Fish spreads are what we call, when just something just doesn't look right to you.
It's fishy.
Something's just too good to be true.
Yeah.
And all these other catchphrases you can put to it. That's what I call a fish spread. Something just doesn't look right to me, And this week there happens to be quite a few of little fishy ones, in my opinion. Let's start with the Seattle-Houston game.
Okay.
I believe the Seahawks are favored by 2 points in this game.
Yeah, I see 2.5.
2.5, 3 points it might be, somewhere depending on where you're looking. Now, here's a team, the Seattle Seahawks, that have basically destroyed everybody they played so far. They're winning games. They're not just winning games. They're blowing people out. They're winning by 2 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. Played San Francisco. They were in the Super Bowl last year. They blew them out by almost 4 touchdowns. Houston, on the other hand, here's a team that could be 0-3 quite easily. They won 2 games on the last play of the game.
Absolutely.
One on Monday night, they came back. They were down 28-7. They came back and won that game somehow in the fourth quarter. They won a game against Tennessee, last play of the game. Now you're telling me that this team that's 3-0 is a 2-point favorite, and they're blowing out the entire league. Something is fishy there. I say, buyer beware. I like the Houston Texans this week to win that game outright. Typically, another one, we talked about the New York Giants and the Kansas City Chiefs in the last segment.
Yes.
But just to reiterate quickly, for people who may have missed that, Kansas City's 3-0. They're on fire. They're getting tons of press. The Giants are getting all kinds of negative press, okay? Kansas City's had 10 days to prepare for this game, having playing on a Thursday night as opposed to the Giants playing last Sunday. That's a 3-day advantage. That's a big advantage in the NFL, having a 3-day advantage
absolutely.
to prepare. They're playing at home. They're playing possibly one of the worst teams in the league. They're ranked like 31 in the power rankings right now, the New York Giants. And the home teams only favor the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs 4 points. I say, look out for that one. We talked about it last segment.
I think you might get more points by game time, too.
Well, you might want to weight that one down.
Kansas City's going to go up.
Although New York money might come in late. You never know about that.
I always forget about the New York money.
The New York money can come in late and hold that line.
Let me explain that briefly. There's a lot of action that comes from New Yorkers on their own home teams. And so the line makers do adjust that. And that often happens not only with the Giants, but with the Jets, the Rangers, the Knicks, the Yankees. You go on and on. Any New York team.
Yes, people in New York love to back their teams, and they got lots of money in New York, by the way. Okay. Getting back to this fish spread thing, how about the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars? Can these teams be going in different directions?
Can they
Jacksonville scored about 20 points the whole season. Indianapolis just went into San Francisco, blow them away 27-7.
Yes.
Okay. They're playing against the Jags. They're favored by 7 points. I already know by going to our website, we talked about this last week, Marty, on the show, covers.com, that the consensus betting, and we talk about consensus betting all the time. Handsome Howard's very big on consensus betting. I can already tell you that consensus betting on this game, 78% of the money's coming in on the Indianapolis Colts.
Which is why it's gone up in the last hour, Ben, to 8.5.
Well, there you go. There you go. This spread's going to probably go up to beyond 10 by game time. So if you like the Jags, which I know it's hard to like the Jags, I get that. I understand where you're coming from there. And the winner covers the spread over 80% of the time.
Like the Jags. You can't like the Jags,
But there's something weird about that spread.
Yes, there is. I agree.
Something weird about that spread. It's fishy.
But stay away from the game.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't bet on a team that I didn't think was going to win the game. I mentioned that last week. If you don't think a team's going to win the ball game, like we said.
That's right.
If you don't think a team's going to win the ball game, you got about an 18% chance of winning the game. And you think that, okay, I don't think they're going to win, but they're going to cover the spread. Only 18% of the time that happens.
Yeah.
The winner covers the spread 82% of the time in all NFL games played. So keep that in mind when you're going and telling your buddies at home, I don't think they're going to win, but I think they're going to cover You might want to just rethink that.
Ben,
Anyway,
I know. What about the
there's
Lions
one more
Chicago
fish. Can we
game?
go with one more fish before we get on to
Yeah.
the Lions?
Yeah.
New England Patriots,
Yeah.
3-0. Now, they played a little cupcake schedule, I got to say. But nevertheless, they're 3-0. They're going into Atlanta. Atlanta's 1-2. The Atlanta Falcons are favored by 2 to 3 points. I just think that they want the New England action. New England's a public team, too. You talked about New York money. New England's a very public team. People love to pile on New England.
Yep.
Okay? Sure enough, they'll be doing that, and it's a primetime game. I like the Atlanta Falcons in that game. That's one of my picks of the week, by the way. But you'll hear about that later.
Lions Chicago, that's not a fish spread.
That's not a fish
Lions
spread,
are favored
but this
by
could be the
3 at
most.
home.
This could be one of the most enormous games of the week as far as affecting one team, and I'll tell you why. Detroit's Lions are 2-1. The Bears are 3-0. If the Bears win this game, they'll be effectively 4-0 and have had beaten the Detroit Lions. So the Detroit Lions will effectively be not just 2 games behind, but like 2.5 games behind, right? Because they have that loss against Chicago. So it would pretty much bury them for winning the division title. But if they win this game, the Detroit Lions, they'll be 3-1, and the Bears will be 3-1. But the Detroit Lions will have beaten the Bears, so effectively the Detroit Lions will be in first place. So it's kind of like a 2.5 game swing, if you see. So it's a huge game for the Detroit Lions this week at home. I think they're favored by 3 points over the undefeated Bears, and I like the Detroit Lions to win that game.
Whoa, there you go. Ben saying take the Lions and lay the 3 points. Now, we still have your best picks of the day waiting, and or the weekend, I should say, waiting. We're going to get to that momentarily. You've got your 3 top NFL picks and your 3 top NCAA picks. And if you missed it last week, folks, Uncle Ben from UncleBen'sFootball.com went 6-0 on his NCAA picks. You don't want to miss this week. Catch him while he's really hot.